Yeah.
All right, y'all, so thank you. I'm excited to hear Mr. John Jackson. I hope you guys are. If you don't know who he is, that's probably good. This will be better for you if you don't know who he is. So I will just say he calls himself the king of lease options. We will find that out later through his presentation. But he has been doing this for a long time. So what he doesn't have in good looks, he makes up in experience. So if you guys would just stand up and welcome John Jackson to Columbia, Florida.
Wait. Here we go. Let's get a video. Come on.
Stay standing. We gotta get a picture.
There we go. Now we got it. Woo, look at all these people. They love me. They love me. All right. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Andrew and Michelle for making sure that we didn't have a microphone or anything like that. But that's okay. Braden, what's up? I see you. I was talking to your son earlier.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
That's my son?
I don't know. You know what? That's funny. I asked, I said, which one's your dad? He's like, I don't know. All right. So let's get started here. First of all, again, thank you so much for inviting me to speak here. Since we do not have a microphone, I'll speak as loud as I can here. Can you hear me all right in the back? Yep. All right. We do have, no, we don't. Well, yeah, y'all stay back there. All right, two things. First of all, there will probably be some people that come in a little bit late. If they do, I need your help to jack with them. Because nobody comes in late to see John Jackson. So here's what we're going to do. Someone comes in late, I'm going to stop whatever I'm saying and say, and that is how you make $10,000 by next weekend. And you'll get all crazy. You ready? We're going to practice it. So I'm talking, blah, blah, and wholesaling sucks. And that is how you make $10,000 by next weekend. Mic drop. All right. I hope someone comes in late. All right, I want you, so I'm actually going to give you all two presentations. We get out here at 10. All right, so I'm going to give you all two presentations tonight, okay? Some really great information here. Real quickly, who in here, and just be honest, who in here is kind of just new, getting started? Maybe you've done less than, say, 2 deals. Just kind of fantastic. The second presentation I do is for everybody, but especially those that are fairly new, because it's about the mindset and about your belief system. So you're going to love that. Everybody, I hope you have something to write with. Do you have something to write with?
Right here.
All right. I want to make sure. Write this down. $20,833.33. $20,833.33. We will come back to that on my very last slide tonight. So, who am I? I'm John Jackson. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Flew in today. It took longer than I thought to get here, but that's all right. I am here. I've been doing lease options since 2003. I started my company Leasing to Buy. Back then, we've done almost exclusively lease options. Now, I do some, on a rare occasion, I'll do some wholesaling, but not super crazy about it. Just done some multifamily, but my niche is lease options. And there's a saying called the riches is in the niches, right? So I've done lease options since 2003. And again, thank you. It's so funny. I literally had to change Columbia in my hotel room. It turns out if you put an O there, it's a country. I did not know that.
My country.
Whose country? Oh, Buenos dias. I started to say some stuff, but I was like, reel it in, John. I actually speak some Spanish. My wife is Brazilian, which is Portuguese, which that's a whole thing. Anyway, all right, thanks for having me here. What I'm going to show you all is how to do real estate literally using nothing but the internet, phone, and email. What I do in real estate, you don't need a bunch of systems and CRMs and all this stuff. I've done real estate for 18 years. I've done over 700 lease option transactions. I have never skip traced a single person. I've never done that. I've never used some speed dial or anything like that. You don't need it. Now, I say that the average deal is $12,000. That depends on where you live. What I'm seeing very, very quickly is this is a very conservative number, which I like to be very conservative, especially when I'm presenting. I've got students all across the U.S. Most of them are doing deals around really starting at about $15,000. But again, it depends on the price range of where you live and everything. But we're going to go with $12,000 as a very low conservative number. So again, who am I? Started leasing by in 2003. Closed well over 700 lease option transactions. And keep in mind, those were just the ones that I've done, and most of those were in 2 counties in Texas, Tarrant County and Dallas County. I know we're not in Texas, but I'm the Texas lease option expert. I am the guy that has taught a lot of the educators that you hear now. I'm the one that taught them lease options. So I go way, way, way back in the education space. So my desire tonight is to show you all that there's an easier way to make money in real estate than either what you have been doing or what you've been trying to do. You see, a lot of people out there trying to do real estate, a lot of people in this room, especially if you're less than a year into it, you've got a lot of things in common. A couple of things are you're probably very, very frustrated. Thinking, well, all these guys on Facebook, they're flashing their checks. This has got to be easy. And so you're thinking there's got to be an easier way. You're not alone if you feel frustrated or thinking there should be an easier way. How many people here at some point, even in the last 6 months or 8 months, have felt frustrated maybe trying to get a deal or trying to do real estate? I mean, just be honest, right? Let's see if this sounds familiar. Where you spend thousands and thousands of dollars, I keep blocking you, I'm sorry. Where you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing, getting really crappy leads, wasting a lot of time cold calling, and you're putting out stupid bandit signs on the weekend, and all you end up is some leads on some butt ugly houses, and everybody is competition, right? Everybody you know is a wholesaler. Everybody's a rehabber. You're competing with everybody, right? Yeah. So what do I say? I say, for me, wholesaling sucks. Now, I'm not saying don't do wholesaling. I know you all do some wholesaling. On a rare occasion, I'll do some wholesaling. But guys, I've been in this 18 years, and to me, wholesaling, I don't like crappy houses. I like pretty houses, you know. But then again, I dress nice too. So imagine this. Real estate that does not involve spending thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing. When I do direct mail, or my students do direct mail for lease options, we typically will try to budget about $750, $800 maybe a month, and that's it. And we get a lot of leads on that. No, negotiating with sellers, we don't negotiate. Guesstimating repairs. That's one of the things I hate about wholesaling. Guys, I couldn't tell you how much a 2x4 costs. I really have no idea. So for me to go to a crappy house and try to figure out how much it's going to cost to fix it, I have no idea. No idea. Skip tracing thousands of people. Anybody here ever skip trace people? Yeah, I've never done that. Oh, what about cold calling angry sellers that tell you, your mother never loved you, you're a piece of crap, and they probably said a lot worse, but I'm trying to be respectful, Michelle. I had totally changed my presentation from Texas lingo to South Carolina lingo. Now, John, we don't talk that way here. And any competition. There is absolutely no competition in what I'm showing you tonight. No competition. Now, the first thing people think, well, John, but you teach people how to do this. Sure, there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people everywhere doing this. No. Because guess what? I can teach 1,000 people how to do this, and what do you think? Maybe 3 will implement it? What Michael was just talking about, what Andrew was just talking about. And there's no risk or money. So again, it doesn't involve risk, money. So I'm going to show you, before I get into lease options, the difference between lease options and wholesaling. With wholesaling, you're trying to get sellers to sell their house to you, but a lot of times they didn't even know they wanted to sell until you called them, right? And then once you convince them to think about selling, now you got to say, okay, now that I got you that far, here's the deal. I'm going to offer you 40 cents on the dollar. Now, how does that sound, right? Whereas with lease options, we're working with homeowners that are already trying to sell, and I'm not negotiating. Hey, so you got your house for $300,000? That's great. Let's talk about a lease option. So with wholesaling, there's massive competition. With lease options, there's no competition. All right, get your cameras out, take a picture. I'm about to give you a definition. This is right out of Webster's Dictionary. Wholesaling. Doing massive marketing with money you shouldn't be spending and don't really have to spend to get leads you don't know what to do with, to make super low offers to people who don't have the equity or the desire to sell for pennies on the dollar that tell you to piss off, rinse, and repeat. Boom. Tough crowd, tough crowd. Michelle's over going, we should have got Zach Childress back. Zach didn't use this language. All right, guys. Anybody know what absentee owner is? There are people that don't live in the house. Guess who everybody in this room is sending ugly postcards to? Absentee owners. Did you just get here? You know what? I'm fixing you. I'm closing this. Now I know. What are the odds a freaking linebacker sneaks in? Well, didn't see that one coming. All right. So, all right, wholesaling. Sending letters to absentee owners. Guys, get a good picture of this. If you can see this, these 2 guys right here, these are absentee owners. This is all the crap you're sending them. Do you see how everybody's your competition? This is your competition if you're a wholesaler. This is a wholesale. Would you all agree this is a wholesale house? Oh, yeah. This is actually a house I wholesaled to a HomeVestor franchise. Now, this is a wholesale house. This is a house that one of my students just did. This is a beautiful, pretty house. That's what we do. We do pretty houses. Now, for some of y'all that, if I went a little bit fast, like any linebackers in the room, I'll go back. Here's an ugly house. Here's a wholesale house. Here's a pretty house. Did y'all see the difference there? Are we good? Look at me. I'm a wholesaler. Nasty, filthy, mold, hoarding, nasty house. Who here has ever walked into a house and when you walked out, you're like, my legs are itching? Did you know that when there are fleas in the house and the owners have dogs, you don't get fleas? When the owners take the dogs and vacate the house and you walk in, you get the fleas. This is what we do. We do beautiful houses. This is a house we did down near Houston, a beautiful house. We made $35,000 on it. I call it pee money versus pool money. I mean, let's face it, that's what it is, isn't it? I like pool money. I like beautiful, pretty houses. This is what I do. I don't like pee money. And I don't know what it is about people when they go, well, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no place to live. Our house is falling apart. Crap sacked up to the ceiling. Baby, let's get 4 cats and no cat box. Let's do it. Right? You see, most investors think the only way to make money in real estate is to feed off dying sellers like scavengers, right? Guys, I'm going to show you how to pick the low-hanging fruit. Pick the house. The seller's already trying to sell their house. So I'm going to show you how to make money, how to offer full price on pretty houses with no risk, no competition. Now here's one. Jose is one of my students. This is his third deal. Made $12,000. But the point is, look at this ad. Look at that house. It's a little out of focus here. There, that Red Bull's kicking in here. There we go. That's his fourth house, and he did 4 houses in 4 months. That one, look at that beautiful house, though, right? That's a gorgeous house. That one he made. That's actually the ad he put on Zillow. $40,000 he made on that house. There's one he made $60,000 on. Adriano, $15,000. So these are all very, very nice houses they did. Now, if you're doing marketing, which, by the way, if you're in this room and you are not doing any marketing, then you're not in real estate. Okay? You're just playing. But when you're doing the marketing, what you're going to find, even at a wholesaler, is that a lot of the leads you get are not wholesale deals. The seller's not at that level of desperation to sell it to you at 60 cents on the dollar. Lease options allow you to convert almost all your leads. And lease options are used in every aspect of real estate. I call them the gateway strategy to almost any avenue in real estate. Single family, multifamily, Airbnb, commercial, raw land. Now, why would I put the asterisk by Airbnb? Because so many people are wanting to get an Airbnb right now. But they're thinking, well, how am I going to buy the house? You don't have to buy the house. You see, lease options allow you to buy, control, or sell the real estate. So you can lock up a house with, say, a 3 or a 4 year lease option with the seller at a set price, and then you Airbnb it. And you're making that cash flow every month, but you control that house. Now, why, in a real estate meeting, would I put planes, ships, and cars? That's odd. That's actually not supposed to be in that slide. I'm kidding. Anybody here ever leased a BMW, a Cadillac, Mercedes? Anybody here ever leased a car? One person. How'd y'all get here? Did they all ride with you? How big is your car? If you've ever... Can you hurry up? My horse gets hungry about 8 o'clock. If you've ever leased a car, whether it be a BMW, Cadillac, anything, you actually had a lease option on that car. You were leasing that car, making payments on it, and you had the right, not the obligation, to buy that house before a certain amount, before the lease expired. So what is a lease option? A lease option is simply a lease combined with an option of purchase that gives the buyer the right to buy the house before the lease expires, like an option on a stock, like a lease on a car. So again, they allow you to control, buy, or sell real estate. There's 3 types of lease options. Here we go. We're about to get into it here. Straight lease option, sandwich lease option, lease option assignment. Now there's a straight lease option. I see you taking pictures. Do you want me to stand up here?
Yeah, a little bit more to the little bit more.
More, yeah, I got you. A straight lease option. Do you know you can buy a house on a lease option for yourself? I was going to do this on a piece of land in Texas that had a building on it. I was going to buy it on a lease option so I would have time to get the building fixed up, live in it, and have time to get the land ready to build a house on it. A straight lease option. You can control it, like for an Airbnb, or you can sell on a straight lease option. If you own a rental house, you can sell it on a lease option. You're typically going to get a higher price and higher monthly payment. So again, a straight lease option. You own the property, you can sell it with a lease option instead of renting. So why, if you own a house, would you want to sell on a lease option? Well, you're going to get non-refundable option fee, typically 4 or 5% down. You're going to get higher than market rent. The buyers are a higher quality buyer. They're not renters. And the buyers are responsible for the repairs. Our buyers actually get a home warranty. So everything's taken care of. So to compare a rental, if it's a $200,000 house, let's assume you get a $1,695 deposit, $1,695 a month. Well, as the landlord, when they move out, you got to return that deposit, right? So it wasn't even really what yours to begin with. But on a lease option, you may get, say, $10,000 down, $1,795 a month, and you're selling for, say, $2,069. You're selling it for a premium. Now, that was a straight lease option. Let's get into the sandwich lease option. Now, the sandwich lease option is the lease option that you'll hear a lot of gurus talk about, where they say cash now, cash flow, cash later, that type of thing, how you can make money 3 different ways in a house you don't own. They're talking about a sandwich lease option. Now, what they don't tell you is that you really shouldn't do a sandwich lease option unless you've done about 5 or 6 lease option assignments, which I'm going to cover here next. All right? I don't recommend anybody starting off in real estate doing either a subject to or a sandwich lease option. Why? Because there's inherent risk. What's the inherent risk? That you got to make payments on it. Write this down. Here's something that's not on my slides. In real estate, something you never, ever, ever want to become is the desperate seller. Does that make sense? So what happens when you get a subject to that you can't find anybody to put the down payment on? Suddenly you became the desperate seller, right? Before I got into real estate, I was a day trader on the stock market. And there's a saying in day trading. The saying is, a long-term hold is a day trade gone bad. I'm sure some of y'all that ever rehabbed a house had a long-term hold. There was a day trade that didn't go quite as you thought it might, right? So what is a sandwich lease option? A sandwich lease option, you do negotiate the price with the owner of the house, all right? So a sandwich lease option, you're going to stay in the middle of the deal. Matter of fact, here, sir, come here. I know you got to go to the bathroom, but come here. I'm going to use you. I mean, you're my seller. What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony. All right, you got to go to the bathroom?
Throat a little dry. I'm about to get some water.
Oh, I got some water over there.
No, I'm fine. I'll grab some after we finish.
You don't trust me, do you?
I wouldn't say that, but there's a lot of things going on. You know?
Is this, all right, dude, I promise. I brush my teeth. Sometimes I go see one of those guys with a dentist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
All right, so you're my seller, Anthony.
Uh-huh.
So in a what is your name?
Sharon.
Sharon? All right, Sharon, get up here. Come on, we got a thing here. Come on, let's go. All right. So in a sandwich lease option, come here. Y'all can see us all right? All right. So we got dry throat Anthony here. He's our seller. All right. I bet his throat's fine. I bet his bladder's so full. He's going, oh God. All right. So in a sandwich lease option, I'm negotiating with him. So let's assume dry throat Anthony has a house that I know is worth about $200. But maybe it's been sitting there, some grass has grown up a little bit, and I call him. He comes off one of my wholesale mailings I did. He didn't want to sell it at 40 cents on the dollar, whatever. I'm like, well, dry throat, maybe I could lease option it from you. Mm-hmm. And so now we start negotiating. And so we agreed to say $170,000 price, all right, and say $1,200 a month. I'm going to pay you $1,200 a month. Does that sound good? I'll take care of all the repairs.
Gotcha.
Okay, outside a roof. Okay, all right. So $170,000, $1,200 a month. That sound good? All right.
Yes, sir.
So I send him the contract. All right. What do I do as soon as he signs the contract? I take my lease option sign, stick it in the yard, say no bank qualifying lease option. It's Sharon driving along home, driving home from her Pilates class, sees the sign. And go, oh my God, that house. And you call me up and go, I was calling about that house. How much is that house? What? I go, Sharon, I'm so glad you called. I tell you, I'm getting blown up with phone calls on this house. It's going to go fast. Now, this is a lease option. You may know it's a rent to own, but it's a lease option. Now, this house is $200,000. All right? And then Sharon says, oh my God, I got to have it. And Sharon goes, well, how much down is it? Say it.
How much down is it?
No, you got to hold the phone. Oh, are you on speaker?
I got my buds.
Oh, you got your buds. Okay. So she says, how much? We're going to get through this. I don't get out much. So Sharon says, how much down is it? And I say, how much do you have? And she says, what do you say? How much down you got?
I got 10,000.
You got 10,000? That's amazing. Because this house, I'm looking to get 10,000 down. Yeah. And this house is $1,600 a month, okay? Mm-hmm. Is that good?
No.
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
You can't do the 1,600?
No.
You got any sisters?
No.
Brothers? I know you got some family. Someone's got 1,600. So, oh, look at that, see?
There for you, huh?
So she's going to pay $1,600 a month. Now here's how this transaction, huh?
I didn't agree.
Yeah, you agree. You're going to cut out of the Pilates class. You're going to have a little extra money every month, okay? No more Pilates and yoga and cappuccinos.
Okay.
So what happens is this. I've got an agreement with him for $170. She's buying it for $200 from me, okay? The reason this is called a sandwich lease option is I'm sandwiched between the buyer and the seller. She pays me, I pay Anthony. I started calling you, throat. So Sharon pays me, I pay Anthony. If Sharon doesn't pay me, I still got to pay him. This is where I say, you know what? Great strategy, but let's get a little experience here on 4 or 5, 6 assignments, okay? But you see the 3 profit centers here. Let me go to 3 profit centers here. So look at this, dry throat, look at this. So I'm going to get 10,000 down from Sharon. I'm going to make $400 a month cash flow. If she cashes me out, I still have $20K of equity. Does that make sense? All right. Y'all give them a hand. All right. So in short, you're subletting the property, okay? You're subletting the property. Now, why would a seller let you do a sandwich lease option? Well, maybe Anthony has talked to some wholesalers and they offered him, $110,000. He's not going to take that. He's not that desperate yet. And Anthony stays on title. There's no title transfer in a lease option. So again, sandwich lease options provide cash now, cash flow, cash later. Now, I already talked about you need to do about 5 or 6 assignments before you do a sandwich lease option. So let's get into it. What is a lease option assignment? That's exactly what I specialize in. So a lease option assignment, similar to a wholesale deal, you have a contract and you're simply assigning it to the end buyer. But with the lease option assignment, the end buyer is not a cash buyer. It's someone that's going to be living in the house. All right? Now, there's a single profit center in the lease option assignment. It's a pretty fast profit center, but there's one profit center. That is off the assignment fee. All right? So Anthony has this house for $200,000. I put the contract together with him for, and I won't get into the numbers right now, but let's say $205,000. All right? And I assign that contract to Sharon for, say, $10,000. Boom, that's my assignment fee, okay? So again, I'm not negotiating with the seller on these. Now I will, when I'm talking to the seller, I do look online to see, hey, if they're asking $300,000, is that about right? All right? I'm going to make about 4 or 5% on my assignment fee. The assignment fee is also called the option fee. So let's step through a typical lease option assignment. You get the house under contract with all the terms. Then I market the property. How do I market it? I put a sign in the yard. Do online ads, Facebook, everything. I get the application, boom, process it. I get the assignment fee, sign the contracts with the buyer, boom, they get the key, I'm done, I'm out of it. Now in my case, the leasing to buy, we actually help people obtain financing. So we have the credit improvement with the financing, all that in place for them. So let's talk about these sellers. So now you kind of understand the gist of a lease option assignment. Let's dive a little bit deeper down. Who are these sellers? And why would they consider a lease option? These sellers are not desperate. In a second, I'll show you part of the levels of desperation, which you need to know the levels of desperation when you're talking to a seller. They're simply looking for a plan B. As a wholesaler, the homeowners you're trying to talk to are desperate, right? My sellers are desperate. They're just kind of looking for plan B. Maybe they've already bought another house in Tennessee, and they're already packing, but their house has been in the market for 60 days, 90 days, hadn't sold yet. And they're like, really got to get going here, right? That's where I come in as plan B. So again, maybe they tried to sell for sale by owner, MLS. Maybe their house has been in the market for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, expired. Now, on the REI Live Columbia Facebook group, I made a video the other day. Did y'all see that yet?
I did.
Yeah. It was a video of me just going on the fly through, I think, Redfin, Trulia, etc. And you could see how I was finding these houses, right? That's what I do. So again, the longer a seller is trying to sell his house, the more he needs a plan B. You, as investors, are plan B. And I'll say that, and let me do a little side note here. No matter what you're doing in real estate, no matter what niche you are doing, whether it be lease options, whether it be subject to, whether it be wholesaling, if you chase the money, it will always run from you. One of my pet peeves is when people post all these checks that they get from wholesaling online, or talk about how they talked the seller down another $10,000 or whatever. Guys, in this room, you are very blessed to be in this room, to be in a position to help sellers. When you are talking to a seller, be the doctor. Listen to them. What's going on in their lives? What's the situation? Then, after listening to them and you're hearing what's ailing them, you can write the prescription. It is not your job to make them take the prescription. Your job as a real estate doctor is to assess their situation and write what you feel is the best prescription for them. Then it's up to them. Maybe it's to take over payments. Maybe it's a short sale. But be the doctor. Now for sellers, they typically look at this as their options. Plan A, sell for full price quickly. And then they think plan B is MLS, hope for the best, or rent it out and become an accidental landlord. It is up to you to explain the prescription of a lease option, because nobody's ever told them this. I cannot tell you. This literally happened, this is Tuesday, this literally happened this past weekend, where one of my students said, he's brand new, and he said, oh my God, he said, I've never had this conversation with the seller. He said the seller was so happy, she was saying, why doesn't everybody do this? Because look at the advantages here. I'm going to stand right here for your pictures. They get full price. Oh, now where are you going? Don't tell me. You got to go to the bathroom? Full price, no negotiating, no commissions. These are serious buyers, not renters. The buyer gets a home warranty, so all the repairs are covered. The owner gets monthly cash flow. And what I do on lease option assignments are 12-month lease options. Why would I do a 12-month lease option on a lease option assignment? Because the seller wants to see light at the end of the tunnel. They want to be cashed out of this, and in 12 months they can see that light. Also, the buyers that come to us, they've got to be a higher quality buyer so I can get them financed within 12 months. We want in and out. So it's a no-brainer for most sellers. On a $400,000 house, they're going to make $24,000 more using a lease option than they would using a realtor. That is just on commission. Guys, that's a new car for the one person here that has one. Oh, I've lost him. Every time I talk about the car, I lose him. Michelle, help me out here. Because again, because of the benefits of the lease option, you are plan B. Now, this is important. Again, remember I said be a doctor? I never have to convince a seller. I never have to convince a seller, ever. If I even feel like I'm trying to convince a seller, I take a step back and I go, you know what? This may not be right for you, and here's what we do, here's how it works. You can decide. Totally different than negotiating. So I like analogies, and I'm from Texas, so I like Mexican food. So let's assume the seller wants enchiladas, okay? They stick their for sale by owner sign in the yard. I want enchiladas. And they're waiting and waiting on their enchiladas. And waiting. A month goes by. 2 months goes by. There's no enchiladas coming. I come by and I go, hey, I know you want enchiladas. That's great. I don't see any coming. I've got fajitas. If you want them, I got fajitas. I got rice, beans, chicken, beef, if you want them. Well, here's the thing. When they see there's no enchiladas coming, man, do they love those fajitas, right? Let me check something here. Wait just a second. Sorry, the wife was texting me something kind of important there. So do you see the analogy there? The seller wants enchiladas, I've got fajitas. If there's no enchiladas coming, hey, I'm plan B. Now, how do you get to help the seller become the superhero? Well, you're helping a seller that can't sell and a buyer that can't buy. And you're matchmaking them together. It's a win-win-win situation. Now, a lot of people think, well, John, I don't know about this. I'm sure these sellers, they probably have all kinds of questions, don't they? It's got to be tough to explain this to a seller. The number one question that a seller has when I talk to them is right here. This was an email I got a couple years ago, but I get this all the time. This is an email from a seller. It says, John, hope you had a great weekend. See questions below. Average time frame to locate a client or buyer. That's the number one question I get when I show the seller, when I explain to the seller, and I send them the price sheet. I email them, hey, here's the seller price sheet, here's the numbers, here's what you're looking at. Number one question, how fast can you find somebody, right? They're asking how quickly can you find someone. Translated, they're asking how fast can you bring those fajitas, right? And boom, there it is. That is the house that homeowner owned. You can see he's looking for enchiladas. Got my little lease option brochure in the mail. He said, how fast can you bring the fajitas? And you can see something magical here that most investors would never do. I'm not competing. I'm helping him. Hey, you keep looking for enchiladas. Well, I'll try to find the fajitas. If he finds enchiladas first, great. Don't owe me anything. Sellers love that. Why do you think there's so many for sale by owners out there? Because they don't want to deal with an agent that's going to pressure them to sign a contract and then say, oh, you can't do anything with your house now. I own it now basically for 6 months. So we talked about the sellers. Let's talk about the buyers. These buyers are not deadbeat buyers. These are people who typically owned a house or two. They just want a little bit of time to get financed. Maybe they've got some credit issues, but we look at it very closely. And if they have any credit issues, it's pretty small, pretty small. A lot of the people we work with on the buying side are self-employed. Any lender, Angela, do you do mortgages or just private hard money? Okay. Any mortgage loan officers in here? Oh, good. Okay, none? Okay, let's make fun of them. Any attorneys? Let's make fun of them. Anybody here self-employed? Okay, look around. If you're not self-employed and you're in this room, let's try to fix that in the next 12 months and get you self-employed. Because if you're in this room and you're self-employed and in real estate, that means you've got a business going, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Lenders look at self-employed people like scum of the earth. He doesn't even have a W-2. He said something about a Schedule C? I don't know. So here's a house in Rockwall, Texas, $475,000, beautiful house. Seller had it on the market for, 3 or 4 months, couldn't sell it. They were moving out of the country. Jose Campos, one of my students, found a buyer within 2 weeks, $475,000, $23,500 down. That's how much Jose made. The buyer had a 720 FICO score. Great income, great score. He just didn't tell Joe Biden exactly how much he made. You know what I'm saying? In about 10 years, you're going to encounter this thing called taxes. You see, when you're self-employed, I got a whole course on that. Okay, yeah. It's called Cayman Islands, okay? So here's one of the checks he got on that house. He made $23,500 total. There's one of the checks he made on that house. But the point is that the seller couldn't sell the house, right? And they were trying to move to the Philippines. The buyer has a Harley-Davidson aftermarket Harley-Davidson accessory shop. God knows how much they're making, how much they're pulling down. But he's only claiming he's making like $65,000 or $70,000, I think, right? So he's got to bite the bullet he's got to bite the bullet on his next year of taxes, right? So where do we find the sellers? Here we go. Here's some of the levels of desperation: for sale by owner, for rent by owner, landlord or investor, accidental landlord, MLS, houses that are for lease, wholesalers. I have wholesalers. Wholesalers are a great resource of leads. I will pay a wholesaler $2,000 for every lead that they call trash that I can convert into a lease option. So if you have wholesalers that you know, investors that you know, they don't have to be here in South Carolina, anywhere, that have a lot of leads in their CRM that are trash, they're dead, dude, start calling them and say, hey, I know you were trying to sell your house earlier, you were wanting a higher price, we can get you full price. Here's some of the videos on the Facebook group. I made a video of me using Trulia and Redfin and Zillow. My Plus Leads is not free, but it's a great resource. It's $25 a month for FSBOs, $25 a month for rent by owners. You can go on there, download a CSV file. But anyway, these are great resources. The top 3 are free. And we use PropStream as well. And I think the next slide has my PropStream affiliate link. So y'all close your eyes for a second because Andrew has one. Oh, whoops. Okay, there we go. Y'all didn't see that, did you? Okay, good. Because it said free PropStream, and I wouldn't want y'all going there. An affiliate link is... How do you find the buyers? There we go. Bam! Take a picture. Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is pretty much dead. Signs. I put signs in the yard. Zillow. Craigslist. Here's 2 sites you may not know about. Zumper and Fizber. I know it sounds like laundry detergent, doesn't it? Mouthwash. Do I smell like Fizber? Zumper and Fizber are syndication sites. So you can put your house on there and it'll blast them to whatever, 15, 20 other websites as well. What? I'm sorry?
So you forgot DOD on your list.
Department of Defense? What's DOD?
Disposition on demand.
All right, whose side is that? Oh, is that yours? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, and DOD. But that's probably cash buyers, aren't they? Yeah. Your website, real estate agents, and loan officers. This is how we find our buyers. So I'm going to leave this up for just a second before we move along here, because we've covered a lot, whether you know it or not. Market to the sellers. When the sellers call you, we have different emails we send. Guys, I've got my system literally down to copy paste. If someone comes to me and says, John, I want to do lease options, and I can put 40 hours a week into this. I'm like, I wouldn't have a clue what to tell you to do. This takes, literally, you could do this like 5 hours a week. I've got this down to a copy paste system. Email number 1, I copy, paste it, send it to the seller. Then I send the seller a price sheet, which is a simple one-page sheet that shows the numbers. Copy, paste, email to the seller. Then I market the property, locate the buyer, and close the deal. These pre-drafted emails, does anybody want those that I send to the seller? Yes. Okay. Well, you're not getting them. So what I'm showing you all is literally so simple that very experienced investors, when I tell them what I do, they look at me like they're waiting for more, like, yeah? Yeah? And then what? I'm like, nah, that's it. That's what I do. And they're like, no, there's got to be more. I'm like, no, it's just that simple. You see, what I do is a yo-yo, but people try to make it a Rubik's Cube. It's simple. Here's, oh, you know what? I think this has got a video on it. So here is Lisa. She was a neighbor. The lady used to live by me. That's the first house she did. She's a single mom, had a 15-year-old son. She was doing Grubhub and DoorDash to make ends meet. It's crazy what parents do for you. Well, maybe not your parents, but it's crazy. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they love you. What parents will do, are these your parents? No. I don't know. Oh, in South Carolina, I don't know where the parents are and the kids are. Man. It's like, anyway, so $22,000. She knew very little about real estate. When she saw what I was doing, she goes, oh my God, that's so easy. Within 60 days, $22,000. There she is right there. This is the very first house that she saw me putting signs out, and she heard me talking to sellers, and she was like, oh my God, that is so easy. She said, I had actually tried to do some wholesaling a couple years ago, and she said, everybody was so mean to me. I go, well, yeah, they're nice to me because I'm getting them full price. So there's Lisa there, right there. Jose did $88,000 within 4 months. Now, I talked about $12,000 being the average. It's actually very low, and we make more than that. But this is a conservative number. If you were lazy and only did one lease option a month. Now, for me, on average, to do one lease option, you typically talk to about 20 sellers. And I'm being very conservative on my numbers here. For 20 sellers, you'll typically send out about 10 seller price sheets. Those are, where you're getting their email address and saying, hey, here's how the lease option works. Here's the prescription, the numbers. So for about every 20 sellers you talk to, you're going to get typically a contract. Being very conservative here. So let's assume you're lazy and you only did one deal a month. That's $12,000 a month. That's $144,000 a year for being lazy. Okay? Now what if you're super lazy and you only did one deal every month? So you do a deal and then you're like, whoo, I got to take a couple months off. Crazy. I'm gonna call dry mouth. Dry mouth. I just did a deal. I'm taking 2 months off. Let's go get some water. So what if you're super lazy and you do a deal every other month? That's $72,000 a year for being super lazy. Now, I want to talk about, so we got the gist of lease options, right? How they work, how the lease option assignment works. I want to talk about the market for just a second. That video that I put on the Facebook group, I'm showing the websites I'm going to, and I'm just going to South Carolina and saying, hey, here's this on this website, here's these counties, Let's talk about surfing for just a second. If you've ever seen a surfing competition on TV, you'll see the surfers out there on the surfboards, and they're just sitting there and sitting there. And after a while, one or two of them will start to paddle a little bit, and then you'll see them start paddling, and then suddenly they're going, and you don't know why they're paddling. And then like just a few seconds later, boom, there's this big wave building up behind them, right? They started paddling because they knew that wave was coming. In real estate, now keep in mind my background is the stock market, so I've seen all markets. All markets are cyclical. I've been in real estate since '03. Believe me, I've seen all markets. When you have a real estate market where you have buyers that are so stupid, they get into bidding wars just to be in the war. Let me ask you something. Anybody here remember Furbies from back in like the 80s, 90s? Furbies? They were like little dolls and yeah, like a little Furby doll. Furby dolls were insanely popular, and moms would like shove their high heel in other moms' eyeballs just to run over them at Target to go get the Furby that was on the shelf, right? And then maybe they'd sell it on eBay for like whatever, like $300, $400. They were expensive. They weren't worth it, but they were doing it, right? When you have that kind of stupidity, but then you put it into the real estate market, because we don't have a real estate market, we have a Furby market. So when you have buyers that are doing that, that just do not care that they're paying more than the house will ever appraise for. They do not care that when they go to closing, they have to sign a release, a waiver saying, I know I'm stupid. I don't hold anybody liable for my stupidity. Right? That is the last wave of stupidity before the market starts coming down. Now, I don't know if it's going to come down like it did in '08. I certainly can't predict that. But interesting how the market, because keep in mind, I've got students across the country, so I'm see all markets, right? Interesting how in the last 60 days, 90 days, it's really been cooling off, cooling off, cooling off. And now we're in November, and the market always cools off in the winter. So it's going to be cooling off quite a bit. You've got to cover a mixture of storms there. I'm saying that you should be paddling as fast as you can right now. Be the surfer. Paddle as fast as you can. It is cooling off. We've never seen anything like this before in real estate. Millions and millions of people that cannot make their payments. Yeah, but John, they had forbearances. Do y'all really know how those work? It's going to be different depending on the lender and the borrower. Think about this. Not all lenders are going to, they may go to forbearance, but then when that forbearance is over, some lenders will say, okay, now you owe us everything that we forgave you. Other lenders will say, you know what, we'll put that on the back end. All right, sounds good. But now, guess what? Oh yeah, and by the way, it's November 1st, so your November 1st payment's due $3,500. The seller's like, what? I'm kind of not used to paying that payment for a while. And uncertainty causes fear in any market. And with uncertainty and fear, days on market go up, prices drop, sellers need a plan B. So you want to make sure that you are paddling right now. Okay, so, but John, do lease options really work? Oh, I forgot this. I thought this was on another video. All right, so this is a video of Lisa after she closed her first deal. All right, what's up, guys? We're in the last video of a series of, I call it Grubhub to Real Estate. Do you like that?
Okay, guys, listen. I will let you know. I did mortgage industry for 10 years.
No. You did.
I did.
The point is, don't get past it. The point is, it's a great story.
No, it is.
Because so many people can relate.
I know. No, so I wanted to pursue real estate investing. So Grubhub and DoorDash were my side hustle, and I was so tired of sitting behind a desk 9 to 5. I make good money, but I was like, I'm going to pursue this full time so I can pursue real estate full time. So that's what I did. So I'm just letting you guys know. Makes me want to tear up because I'm like, I drove DoorDash and Grubhub. I sucked it up and I freaking did it. And if I can do it, you can.
I love her story because she's just regular person. Just within 2 months, boom, 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 boom. But something Lisa is phenomenal at is just building that rapport and being the doctor. There's Jose. Okay, is this where? Okay, so as a guru, all the gurus make a pact that at some point in our presentation we got to show a bunch of checks to get you all pumped up, even though I have nothing to sell you. So here we go. There's a bunch of checks. Yay! People making money. Yay! Okay, there we go. Y'all getting that? Okay, yeah. Woo! There are a lot of reviews. Now this we'll stop on. You can't quite read it. This one is a text message from a guy named Cameron. Him and his mom had started doing Lease Options. They'd spent $50,000 on a coaching package with somebody. Felt horribly ripped off. Found me, started doing Lease Options, and this says, you can't quite see this. Thank you for sending out that trifold campaign. It just turned into a big check. Trifold is a mailing piece a very specific mailing piece that we use in Lease Options. I said, hey, that's great. So then they had done a mailing campaign on their own, screwed it up. I said, y'all screwed that up. Here's how you do it. Boom, boom, boom. I think I spent $600 on that for them. They ended up getting a package of 5 houses out of that in San Antonio. Cameron took a screenshot of his bank account and sent it to his mom because he was so happy. His mom sent it to me because it's a mother-son team. $159,485.18. Guess how old Cameron is? 23. 23. Now I say that, and I know some emotions just went through here. About 20% of you all probably got a little, can I say the word pissed? Some of y'all got a little irk there. Going, dang. Sorry. About another 20% of y'all got a little jealous. About 60% of you all probably felt dejected. I'm 58. I can't. I feel bad. Guys, you can do this. Doesn't matter how young you are. And what is your name? I'm sorry, Michael? Winston. I'm sorry. I keep trying to call someone Michael. I think I tried to call you Michael earlier. Winston. All right. Well, from now on, you're Michael. All right. Is that?
Go by Mike.
Winston, Mike for short. Dude, I like that. How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is that right now, everybody in this room has done something that the majority of people out there that want to be investors will never do. You came here to better yourself. Most investors won't do it. They're stuck at home watching YouTube and going to Bigger Pockets. Which, by the way, never go to Bigger Pockets. No, I'm serious, don't. For those of you who can't read this is phenomenal. This is going to lead us into the guru mindset. Some people think that $100,000 a year is impossible. Some think $100,000 a month is a bad month. Think about that. Choose wisely who influences your thoughts. Now, I've got, Michelle, how long do I have till like 8? I'm done. I've got to show my guru mindset. Yeah, Michelle, you know what? Oh, Michelle, I forgot, the lady downstairs at the front desk, she wanted to talk to you about something. You may want to go on down there. All right, so guys, here's some of the tools my students use. My specific lead sheets, my property lead sheets, my pre-drafted emails, my lease option calculator, my seller price sheet. Oh, by the way, the lease option calculator is really awesome. All you do is plug in the top number of what the homeowner is asking, and it spits out the numbers for your seller price sheet that you send to the seller. My comparison sheet, which compares how much more the seller is going to make with a lease option versus listing it. And some of my scripts that I don't use scripts talking to sellers, obviously, and neither should you. You should just be yourself. But these scripts are great to show you some of the things we take out of a conversation with a seller. Does anybody want these for free? All this stuff. Oh my God. Who wants this? You're being too quiet. And I even buy your water.
You did.
Do you want this?
Let's do it.
Say, oh, God, that was lame. Say, yeah, baby. Pretend like you're at a Pantera concert. Whoa!
Go!
Yeah, all right, here we go. Get your phones out. Hold your phones out. Let's go. Get your phones out. And I'm going to show you a QR code. I want you to hold your camera up to it. When it captures it, it's going to have a text message. And I'm going to have, you've been sitting here very quiet and polite. Your name is?
Shallon.
Shallon?
Yes.
Shallon, come on up here. Do you think you can be loud and project to the crowd?
Sure.
Oh, I just rhymed. Loud and project to the, I'm like Dr. Seuss.
You're a poet.
I'm a poet, didn't know. Okay. So I'm going to show you a QR code, and you're going to point your camera at it, okay? When it does, I want you to read out loud what that text message says. You've got low battery.
I do.
Stick with me, girl.
Okay.
We're almost there. Are you ready? And when you do this, I want you to hit text it, because it's going to come to me. It's going to put it into a little app I have, and then tomorrow I'm going to send everybody here a link to all this stuff. Are you ready? Ready. Boom. Do it. Now it's your job to read that text. What does that text say? Read it out loud.
John, OMG, you were
Louder.
the best. Louder?
Louder.
You were the best speaker ever. I low-key want your autograph. Thank God that Michelle and Andrew had the sense to have you speak. Yes, please send me some free stuff on Lease Options. I want to learn more. Maybe one day I could have the honor of working with you.
All right, give it up for her. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to go through a very quick version of the Guru Mindset. This is probably even more important than what I just showed y'all. Before we get into this real quickly, was that good stuff? Yes, sir. All right. Did everybody text me?
Yep. No.
Oh, come on, Dad.
I had to download the app.
What app?
Your wife got it. She got it.
Okay, man. I'm ready. I got friends in high places.
There's so many jokes running through my head. I'm holding it back. Which, by the way, Michelle, you and I, Michael, you and Andrew know this. Years and years ago, believe this or not, I spent 10 years of my life traveling around doing stand-up comedy. Back in the day, way back in the day, Jamie Foxx, I remember seeing him on stage. I'd gone on, he was a headliner. I didn't like his jokes, but then he got the keyboard out. I was like, oh, dang, but he was good. He was good. All right. No matter what you're doing, whether in business, in life, all this education and information I can give you doesn't matter if your head's not right. I've done real estate for 18 years, and there's probably every day I've got to catch myself and think of, where's my subconscious? What am I thinking here? So this is the Guru Mindset. The Guru Mindset came from, I've been teaching people for years and years and years. I've taught people, back when all I had was a little binder that had the operation system of leasing to buy. I said, here's my training. Worked with them, gave them everything. And they went on, now they're gurus. God love them. There's other people I've given the same information to, and they wouldn't do anything with it. I'm like, what is it? As somebody who really takes this seriously, I took it personally. I'm like, what is going on here? This is where the Guru Mindset came from, because as I was interviewing students going, well, what's going on here? I'm seeing the common denominator. The common denominator is right here. So I'm going to ask this question, and it's going to come up at the end of the presentation. Are you committed? In other words, are you committed, or are you just playing around? Are you committed, or are you here because you'd rather be here than hanging out with the angry spouse at home? Right? I mean, are you committed? She's right there. She looks angry. She's back there going, I think he cussed too much. Are you committed? You see, in order to get to where you are right now, You had to break through comfort zones to get to where you are right now. For some of you all, you had to bust through a little bit of a comfort zone to get here tonight, whether it was traffic or telling the wife or the husband, hey, I got this thing going on. You had to break through a comfort zone. But look at where you are right now. Not only tonight, but with your real estate. Maybe some of y'all have done some multifamily, 4, 5, 6 houses, some rehabs, etc. But in order to take it to the next level, you have other comfort zones you're going to have to bust out. You see, what you did to get you to where you are now will not work to get you to where you want to be. Right? And every level of success creates new comfort zones. These are the 6 words. If you forget everything I said tonight about lease options, remember this slide. These are the 6 words that kill. Yeah, but, what if only. Yeah, but John, it's such a hot market right now. 6 months later, yeah, but John, nothing's selling right now. If only I could get this Podio thing working, right? If only there wasn't traffic, then I could make it to the REI live meeting. What if the seller says yes? But these are the words that will kill any ambition you have.
If only the babysitter would let us stay out.
I love it. I love it. That was good. Are you the wife? He's going home to the babysitter? Yeah, I don't know what y'all do here in South Carolina, but he doesn't know who his kids are. He doesn't know who his dad is. He's going home to the babysitter. I'm starting to get in the groove of this South Carolina thing. Now I know why all the flights were full here. Yeah, but what if only? You see, your brain, there's the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. And we all know that, right? The conscious brain is for learning, information goes there. The subconscious brain is for protection and survival. It's very, very fast. It's called the rabbit brain. But since the subconscious is there to protect us, the subconscious has a stamp. And any idea or thought that you have of taking action on something has to pass through the subconscious first. But the subconscious is there with its stamp saying, denied, denied. Hey, I think I'm gonna make an offer on this wholesale deal. Yeah, but you don't know how much the repairs cost. What if they say yes and you can't find a buyer? So it's there to protect you, and it's so quick to stamp your ideas and your thoughts with yeah, but, what if only. So every time you think you take an action, it gets stamped, denied, 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 goes right back to the conscious brain. We've all heard of paralysis of analysis, right? This is a big, big part of that reason. I want to do lease options. Yeah, but someone on Bigger Pockets said that was illegal. I see them on Bigger Pockets. They have to know what they're talking about. So now you go back to reading, going to more YouTube. I got to get more information up here. Now, the worst action you can take is when the subconscious takes the idea you have to take action on something and it stamps it with approved with caution. Because that means if it approves it with caution, it means your action's going to suck, which means the results are going to suck, and the feedback is going to go right back there and say, I told you it wasn't going to work. This is incredibly important. Who here has watched Undercover Billionaire? If you have not watched it, write that. Have you seen it?
I've never even heard of it.
Okay, write it down. This is this important. Undercover Billionaire. The season 2. I have not seen season 1 yet. Season 2 has Grant Cardone and has two ladies on there that are also billionaires, incredibly successful business people. And the premise of the show is they're given $100 in a piece of crud car and 90 days. That's all they're given. The phone they have doesn't have their contacts except maybe their spouse, their kids, right? They can't use their contacts. They literally have $100, a phone with no contacts, and a piece of crap car, boom, dropped off in Pueblo, boom, dropped off in wherever, Washington. They have 90 days to survive and make a $1 million business. I want everybody in this room to watch season 2, but don't watch it from the aspect of entertainment. I want you to absorb and observe. What are they doing? How are they acting? Because I was watching this, I was fascinated from a business perspective. Yes, there's some, there's got to be some drama and stuff there for TV. Get past all that. Watch what they're doing. The two commonalities between, by the way, they all three did it. Grant Cardone and his company was valuated at 5.5, I think, 5.5 million within 90 days. The two commonalities that they all had, because they got to have something in common here. What was it? Speed and creativity. Speed and creativity. They would create an opportunity and bam, bust open that door. They would see an opportunity and bam, bust open that door like fast. And they got creative. If you're in this room and you want to get in real estate but you don't have a dime to spend on marketing, let me tell you this. Creativity, when it comes to marketing, creativity will always beat recklessly used money every time, hands down. Ask me how I know. The worst marketing I've ever done is when I had a lot of money to market with. Speed and creativity. They never fell back on those 6 words. You didn't hear Grant Cardone go, yeah, but I only have $100. What if they say no? What if this doesn't work? No, they create an opportunity, bam. Here's some sayings for y'all. Because I've noticed this psychology in some of the students that just didn't make it. They would set out to fail. I hope I can find a really good reason to fail, or better yet, not even try. Now, why, psychologically, would someone say, I hope I can find a really good reason to fail, or better yet, not even try? I'm going to stop here for a second. This is Tuesday. Last night, on my coaching calls with my students, I normally do Tuesday. I had a coaching call last night. I'm losing patience with some of them. And I'm pushing them hard. I'm calling them out on the Zoom calls. Because I got those students, when it's their time to ask questions and talk about the deals they got or whatever's going on, all they do is tell me what didn't work. Well, can't get hold of that seller yet. What have you been doing the last week? Well, I got this lead. I can't get a hold of him. What have you been doing? Why would someone set out to fail? Because if people set themselves up to fail and they fail, what have they done? They succeeded. See, I told you this wasn't going to work. I told you this is just like wholesaling. Wholesaling didn't work. Lease Options didn't work. None of this works. Yeah. Ooh, self-storage. I'll buy that course. But I love self-storage. You get the point. Shiny object syndrome. I know someone's going to fail when they ask me these questions. If someone comes to me for coaching and they say, "Now, how much time do you think I need to spend per week doing this?" Wow, I can't help you. What? I can't help you. right? Let me ask you, what do you do for a living?
Invest in real estate.
Okay, anybody here with a 9-to-5 job? You? Okay, what's your name?
Daisy.
Daisy? What do you do for a living?
I sell paint for Sherwin-Williams.
You sell paint, okay. Can you imagine going into an interview with Sherwin-Williams, and you sit down in your interview, and they go, Daisy, nice to meet you. Here's the position at Sherwin-Williams. They go, I got a few questions for you. First of all, I kind of need to know, how much time do you think I really need to spend here? Do you think that's going to fly? Guys, if you're in it, are you committed? Are you going to make this a business? Or is it a hobby? I like this one. I get this. When I can't get, students pay me for coaching. I can't, he went ghost. I can't get a hold of him. I finally got a hold. Frank, where have you been? Oh, man. Woo. Woo. I got to get some of these VAs going. VAs? Oh, my God. Wow. That's awesome. What are you going to have them do, Frank? Oh, whew. I just got to get this Podio thing going. Podio, dang, you must have a lot of leads. How many leads you got, Frank? Man, I got to get these VAs going. You know, I don't tell my students ever to go get VAs. I never go tell them to get a CRM. I don't use any of that. So I can, with what I teach them, you can literally use a Big Chief tablet and a crayon. I'm serious. I literally, I've got my backpack over there. I literally have a yellow legal pad up in the hotel room with seller stuff. The comfort zones are created by fear. And fear is created by the 6 words that kill. Something that I saw the other day, I posted this on Facebook. Hopefully you liked it. God knows you follow me. Thank you. Is that fear and excitement are made up by the same mechanics, the same chemicals. Isn't that crazy? You're going on a roller coaster and you're excited or whatever, or Christmas, you're excited. The same chemicals, the dopamine, everything that's going on with excitement, are the same chemicals that go on with fear. But fear is excitement, but without any breath. So if you find yourself in fear, breathe into it and flip that switch and make it excitement. Hesitancy is caused by the 6 words. So the next time, over the next week, even tonight, over the next week, every time, I want you all to get in tune with what's going on in your head. Take this thing off autopilot. Over the course of the next week, when you have an opportunity and you hesitate, I want you to stop and go, whoa, I just did what John was thinking, what John was talking about. What was going on in my head? And see what words, what are the 6 words were going through your head. Wealthy people decide quickly and adjust. Poor people either never decide or decide slowly and stay poor. What were the 2 things I said the commonalities on Undercover Billionaire? The 2 commonalities were speed and creativity. On Undercover Billionaire, they acted so fast, they literally bypassed the subconscious and boom, took action, got results. And those results weren't quite what they wanted, they adjusted. But they already bypassed the subconscious, it's too late, they're doing it. Let's go. I know some incredibly, incredibly successful people. And when they have a business idea, not one of them goes, I better go ask my wife. Can I talk to my spouse about it? Oh, what if this doesn't work? No, boom, let's do it. And these are garbage responses. Let me think about it. Let me talk to my wife about it. If someone's coming to me or even talking about buying like one of our home study courses or something, and I go, well, let me think about it. It's $1,000. Let me talk to my wife about it. Oh, well, yeah, definitely. So your wife's in real estate too? No, she's a dentist. Well, let me ask you, when your wife has to put a crown on someone, does she call you and go, hey, do you think I should put a crown on him? I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? Treat this as a business. You got to be responsible for it, right? Let's take that on a smaller scale. If you had a landscape company and you had to go buy a leaf blower, you wouldn't go, oh, I better call my wife. Hey, baby, I may have to get a leaf blower. Oh, don't be mad. I may have to get a leaf blower. Think about this. I don't care if you go left or right. Just get off the road. Are you committed? The road of life is paved with dead squirrels that couldn't make a decision. They weren't committed, were they? They got to the middle of the road and they're like, I got to ask my wife. Splat. You want me up here? Opportunities don't go away. They go to someone else. It is on the edge of destiny that you will be tried. Can I go till 8:15? I'm almost done here. It is on the edge of destiny that you will be tried. Have y'all ever heard the Emperor Moth story? Some of y'all may call it some different things, but a guy's walking through a park and he sees this huge cocoon on the ground. It's the cocoon of a big emperor moth. So he takes it home, puts it in a jar, puts holes in the top of the jar, and he watches this thing as a huge cocoon. He watches it. Well, after about a day, it starts moving. The cocoon is moving. And then the next day, he can see the moth trying to get out. And he's trying to get out for like 2 days. The moth can't get out. So he takes a razor blade, very gently cuts the side of the cocoon. Well, then within about 30 minutes, the moth falls out, flops in the bottom of the jar, wings are wet, flop and flop, flop. Within 20 minutes, the moth is dead. You see, God created that cocoon to cause so much pressure on the wings of that emperor moth that when he was finally squeezing his way out, after fighting and fighting and fighting, it would wipe all the moisture away off his wings and he could take off and fly. As soon as he took away that pressure, he couldn't fly. There are so many times in business, as an entrepreneur, there was a time when I was behind my house on my knees praying to God to take it away because I was done with the partnership, the arguments, everything. Every time now that I'm going through a difficult time or a challenging time, I breathe life into it. I breathe life into that fear because I know there's something I don't know what God has planned, but I'm about to fly. I'm about to take it to a whole other level. It's on the edge of destiny that you will be tried. You do not decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Whatever those habits are. You don't decide your future. You decide your habits. So decide them wisely and see which ones you need to get rid of. Especially if you're going to be committed to being an entrepreneur. Now you have to ask yourself, are you in the habit of using the 6 words? I want you to be very aware of what's going on in your head. Oh, this one's good. the chains of habit, speaking of habit, the chains of habit are generally too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. So show me the future you want, and I'll show you the people to surround yourself with. I've already got on my vision board at home, on my board right next to my computer, I've got the names of groups and people that I'm going to surround myself in 2022 that play at a whole other level than I do. Again, this goes back to this post. Some people think 100K in a year is impossible. Some think 100K in a month is a bad month. Choose wisely who influences your thoughts.
The man that got me started in real estate in 2003 was one that I'm here in Utah. He just gave an amazing presentation. And the big takeaway for me, I was blown away, is commitment. Once you commit, the paradigm shifts dramatically. So many people I talk to that want to get started in real estate, they're like, well, maybe, I don't know, I'll think about it, yeah, but what if, but only. But once you commit, the paradigm shifts. Robert, what can you say real quickly once you commit?
There's a statement I want you to memorize. And you've heard it before, but you've never memorized it. The reason you haven't memorized is you weren't committed to memorize it. So it's a quote about commitment, about a guy who's climbing Mount Everest, and as they're climbing Mount Everest, he writes in his book, How to Commit. He says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back all his ineffectiveness, concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which does countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits, providence moves truth. A whole sorts of things, all sorts of things occur that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision. Your decision to commit. A whole stream of events issues from your decision, raising in your favor all sorts of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which you couldn't even imagine were going to happen to you. That quote, you go online and Google the commitment quote, you'll find it, I want you to memorize it, because it means that when you commit and willing to go all in, providence, what does that mean? Providence with a capital P, providence, the universe, higher power, commits to people who commit, and doesn't commit to people who are not committed, leaves them on their own to try to figure out by themselves. So you gotta go for it. You gotta commit. You gotta follow your heart. I mean, you don't want to go for something stupid, because your intuition will tell you, that's stupid, don't do that. And if your heart says, this is it, go all in.
Robert, thank you so much. I'm so blessed to have you in my life, with seeing you on TV 18 years ago with Mark Victor Hansen promoting your book, and what a dynamic change you had in my life. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's great. That's awesome. Thank you.
So are you committed? And you all can Google that quote. Just Google the commitment quote. But it starts off, until one is committed, there is hesitancy. What causes the hesitancy? The 6 words that kill. Yeah, but what if only?